and I happened to roll over onto my boyfriend's phone. And so I opened it and the messages, and like the messages that were saved to the top were from my best friend.
Hello. And welcome to the latest episode of the Bad Times, Good Stories podcast. My name is Joe Flanders. I hope you are having a transcendent, beautiful day. I know that I am, and that's mainly due to the fact that I just had a wonderful conversation with my guest, Nicola Foti, and we laughed a lot on a fairly dramatic issue, or at least it was dramatic at the time. Earth-changing. Well, I won't say earth-changing. The earth didn't change. Life-changing for him. He found out that his boyfriend was cheating on him with his best friend. And it happened while on vacation in Miami. If that isn't the worst-case scenario, I don't know what is. We talk all about it, and we laughed a lot, like I said, which I think is great, because when you can laugh at these things, they truly lose their power and their effect on you. And that was the case in our conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, give us that 5 stars on iTunes. It really means a lot. It's very helpful. This is a legit show, obviously, but it makes us look even more legit. So give us that 5 stars. Email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes, merch, and a link to the Patreon page. Really appreciate those of you who are donating your hard-earned dollars to help me, to allow me to continue to do the show. So thank you for all of that. That's all I've got for now. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Nicola. How long have you been doing YouTube videos and all that stuff?
How long have I been doing YouTube videos? Since 2008. So this year in October, it'll be 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how often do you post?
Usually, like, I have 2 series. One called What the Sweet Fuck. That's once a week.
Okay.
And then one called The Dumbest Thing I've Ever Done, which is like once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
That's
being
awesome.
like 6 a month.
When did you start doing the dumbest thing you've ever done?
Right now, I am on episode 9. So just since, oh gosh, I don't remember. I started this year, sometime earlier this year.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of similar to what we're doing, I guess. Which is just embracing stupid, or in this case, just bad things we've been through.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool. And I watched an episode, so it seems like you get a lot of like interaction with fans and stuff, and you'll talk about the stuff they've done, and
exactly.
Sounds like a lot of fun. A whole community of people who've done dumb things.
Yeah.
Because we've all done them.
When you're reading them, you're like, oh, shit, I kind of did something similar to that.
Yeah.
So then I can like tell a story about, when I was an idiot.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of a nice springboard into all the stuff that you've done. Well, it sounds like from the brief synopsis that I asked for, this wasn't something that you did, but something that was done to you.
Right.
So I guess we can kind of dive right in. I will say before we get to it, I was going to offer you coffee, and my coffee maker is terrible, and it started burning.
Oh, good.
And so I had the microwave fan on. I was doing the thing with the towel. It was a whole to-do, and it just got me thinking that everything is crap now.
Correct. That's, yes,
it's
valid
just
assessment.
Everything we buy is complete crap.
Yeah.
And because I was thinking about it, and I was like, I remember going to my grandmother's as a kid, and even now, she still has the same TV from 1968. It still works.
Same everything. My grandparents have had the same coffee maker that just sits on the stove since I was a child.
And it keeps working.
So how are we fucking up? You know? What are we doing wrong?
Is it just because is it even our fault? I think everything is just made to be broken now. I bought one of those iPhone holders for when you're driving.
Oh my God. Mine literally just drove. I'm just broke while I was driving here. It literally fell off of my dashboard. This is a tender moment for me at the present moment.
Okay.
Yeah, wow.
Wow. See, in that I opened it. I put it like because I got the one that you like. It had the adhesive that you like put down on. Because I didn't want to. They have the ones where you can stick it in the like one of the air conditioning vents.
Yeah.
But then I'm missing a vent, and I got to stay cool.
Those are important.
And so those ones seem to be the ones that work better. However, at a cost to my coolness. So I got the one that you stick on. It lasted for maybe 10 minutes and then fell off. And then I looked up at their return policy, and you have to pay the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And I only paid $7 for it in the first place.
Yeah,
so I'm just
I
fucked.
think you're right because they're like, let's make this good enough for a moment so that when you break it, which inevitably will happen, you're gonna give us more of your money.
Exactly. Well, I'm not giving them another damn cent.
Good call.
And part of it, I guess you'd ask, what are we doing? Part of it is, admittedly, when the option for the cheaper thing is there, I will take it.
Absolutely.
There was like a $15 version that I could have gotten, and maybe it would last better.
True.
I don't know.
I mean, see, but then that's like a risk you're taking. You're
Right.
like, okay, but is this going to break just as often as the $7 one?
Right.
And you don't know until you buy it.
Right.
So
Life is just so hard for us.
life is really hard. Wow.
I'm going to let the dog out because the last time I ignored her, she peed on the floor.
Okay, good. I like that she tells you, though. She's like, hey.
Okay, so I digressed a little bit. So I'm excited to hear about this. So take us back. So when did this event happen?
This was quite a while ago. It was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how old were you at that point?
I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Were you living out here? Where were you?
I was in New Jersey.
Okay.
Which
Is that where
is
you're from?
my home state.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was still living at home.
Mhm.
So, there were no living arrangements to be figured out after this all went down, which you will hear about
Yes.
in a second. So, yeah.
Okay. And so you'd been in a relationship for how long?
A year.
A year.
Mhm.
Okay. And was it like starting to get kind of serious? How'd you feel about this person?
I mean, it was definitely serious. Like at the time, I didn't think like I was gonna date anyone else. I was like, okay, well, I mean, he's like, this is a permanent thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So this at that time you were like, oh, I found my person.
Right. Exactly.
What a relief. I've got it all figured out now.
Oh,
No.
great days. Wow.
But that was not to be. I'm just going to keep teasing it like this.
So, I also had another character involved in the story was my best friend at the time.
Okay. So I'm going to stop being coy. So your best friend, basically, your best friend and your boyfriend cheated on, or they had something. Your boyfriend cheated on you with your best friend.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to get that out there. So now we know what happened, enough being coy. So what was the context of all this?
All right. So for more context with my friend, we've
Please.
been friends since like 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, a little like better friends 8th grade on.
Mm-hmm. You kind of like knew each other and then.
Yeah, but this would have been, I guess, almost 10 years of friendship, maybe 8. And so the three of us would hang out all of the time together. And I worked with my friend. So we worked in the same store. It was like a fancy Home Depot. It was Expo Design Center.
Oh.
They all went out of business.
Oh. I guess we didn't need a fancy Home Depot.
Yeah, I guess not. But
what did you do there?
Customer service.
Okay.
And cash register.
Okay. Were people
And-
angry? With
I mean-
customer service.
I mean, I may have like cried because a customer was being mean to me once. It's a lot of rich people buying things that they don't need. So
What did they do?
I don't even remember at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, I just remember, I guess it was after this happened.
Oh,
so, I may have been in a more emotional position.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, so this was like June 2006. Me and my ex and my boyfriend at the time and my friend and then another one of our friends went on a trip to Miami.
Okay.
So it was 4 of us in one room. And the second day that we were there, we were like all taking a nap, and I happened to roll over onto my boyfriend's phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, this is the first time I ever, like, I don't know, was inclined to open it, to look at it for some reason. So my intuition was like, open this.
This would have been a flip phone?
This probably was a flip phone, yeah. And so I opened it, and the messages that were saved to the top were from my best friend. And one of them said, don't call me until later. Nick is working at the service desk. So I guess we were working together that day. And then the other one said, I love you. And I was a little, confused.
Yeah, understandably. That's a fair reaction.
Yeah, a little confused.
But you didn't go like straight to anger, or was it more just like, what is going on here?
I don't remember.
Okay. Sure.
I feel like, honestly, I blacked out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the message and I have that memory.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I remember, everyone's awake. And my boyfriend is in the bathroom, like, I don't know, doing his hair or something with the door open. So I walk in and I have his phone still in my hand. And I just like show it to him. And I'm like, what's this? And just all of the color leaves his body, and he's like, can we talk in the hallway? And I was like, okay. what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We're not gonna get cocktails right now.
Let's chat about it over a drink.
Yeah, and my friends,
Yeah.
air quotes, were like in the other room.
Okay.
So I wanted to probably murder people at the moment.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, like, God damn it, I spent money to be on this vacation. I don't want to ruin it.
Right.
Like, and I don't want to ruin it for my female friend who was not involved in the situation. So I'm like, how do I navigate this?
So many things going on.
So many things. And so I decided that I wasn't going to mention it to my friend, the girl. Mm. My friend, the girl. Wow, what a great title. And so he assured me that it was a one-time thing, even though the message said, I love you. Like that's not like let's hook up in your bedroom while you're at work and your mom's home downstairs once.
No.
That's like no, we're going to do that, but a lot of times.
Yes.
And another thing was that the messages were dated April, so 2 months prior.
Okay.
So he told me that ended in April. And when you're in love, you're kind of an idiot.
Sure. Yeah, you just had blinders on. You're just
exactly.
like, oh, you want to believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like convinced myself like to believe him. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, fine. We will, I guess, deal with this when we get back.
Sure.
Mind you, we still had 5 days left of the vacation altogether.
Oh my God. It's just the timing of this is so bad. But I admire you for just like, no, but I understand that. Yeah. You'd probably talked about this trip for a long time. It was like this thing that we're going to go do. And, you're 21. So it's like, you're just excited to go partying and do all the stuff. And then you find that out. And then it's just like, let's keep the good times rolling.
Yep, just here with 3 of the people I love the most on a vacation.
No.
So he said that it was a one-time thing. I believed it. And then just throughout the week, I wasn't that great at hiding my emotions.
How so?
Toward my friend. So at one point, it was just him and me in the bedroom. And so there were 2 beds. We were sitting on opposite beds watching some movie. Maybe it was Anaconda. Some movie where like someone was actively drowning someone.
Uh-huh.
And I may or may not have said, I'd like to do that to somebody. And I guess he didn't know what was, I don't know. Because I still don't know if my boyfriend at the time told him that I found out.
Right. Okay.
So,
because did the friend at that point seem oblivious? Like, did he just seem like, oh, everything's great, having fun?
It was hard to tell, I guess, because I had my own emotions going on.
Sure.
So, like, for me to, I don't know, try to read his, like, knowing what I knew, I feel like he had an inkling, even if he wasn't told that I found out.
Sure.
Just because of the way that I was acting.
Right. Well, yeah, and if you've been friends for that long, he could probably pick up on your vibes or whatever, and
And surprisingly, like 90% of the time, I was a regular human being, I think. I don't know how that happened.
What kind of activities were you guys doing? I'm just imagining you like, just like, I have no idea. If you're in Miami and you're 21, like what kind of stuff were you doing that you had to just mask all the stuff that you were feeling?
It was wild because like I barely remember like anything we did on that vacation.
Yeah.
But like I know we went to the beach at night. We went to the beach in the day. We went to like a club. We ate a bunch of food. Like if you know Miami at all, we walked up and down Lincoln Road and just, ate a bunch of delicious things, I'm sure. Just kind of like tried to keep myself at a level of like sanity that I wouldn't be found out, mostly from my female friend. And then I told her after we got back from the trip.
Okay. All right. So then what happened? Are you able to just keep a lid on it the whole trip?
For the most part, besides those like side comments. That's the only one I can think of right now. But like, just little jabs that gave me a little bit of satisfaction. Like, oh, I get to say this to you because you're an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, after we got back, that's when things got a little bit more interesting.
How long did you wait? Was it like we're in the airport back in New Jersey?
So it was like the end of June. And I remember another one of my best friends had moved or was moving to Philadelphia. So like an hour and a half away from me. And she would have been like my other best friend that I would confide in about everything.
Sure.
And so it was like at that time, I lost my boyfriend, my guy best friend, and my girl best friend because she moved away. So I spent like every weekend or like 3 to 4 days a week in Philadelphia that summer.
Hanging with her.
Yeah. And the boyfriend, I was still trying to convince myself that it was fixable. So I was the person in this story that was like, oh, but it's okay. We can fix this. When he's obviously doesn't want to fix it. Like he doesn't want to be with me anymore, but like I couldn't drill that into my head.
Sure. Well, because you found your person.
Right. And he did too, I guess. So,
but it wasn't you.
I know, but you're welcome because I guess initiated that relationship.
Oh, I hate to laugh.
I love it. I love to laugh.
Yeah, I do too.
But so July 1st, when my one friend moved to Philly, I decided that I was going to surprise my boyfriend at his apartment. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go surprise him and take him out to lunch before he has to go to work. We're going to fix this. This is the best idea I've ever had. I've never had a better idea. So I get there and I see a car in the parking lot of his apartment complex.
Okay.
Again, he said it was done. This was over. And it was like a very particular seafoam green color. Okay. So immediately I knew it was my friend's car. And like a movie, somehow all of the doors were unlocked.
Oh God.
And I just was not to be trusted, So I saw the car was just infitted with rage. And I opened the garage door, walked inside, opened a door to his apartment, walked inside, Sat on his bed. He was asleep in his bed. Didn't realize that I was in the room. My friend was in the shower. And so I'm just sitting there on the bed, just like this. Just, you know, that one gif of New York, Tiffany Pollard, and
Yeah.
she's just sitting on the bed, just with her her hands folded, waiting. That was
Yeah.
me.
Just emotionless.
So it could have been like 2 hours, could have been 2 minutes. The bathroom door opens and he sees me and he just goes, "Hi." Like that's what you say, I guess. Like, what else are you gonna say? You know? So there's just the initial reaction, and I lunged toward him. I'm not a violent person.
Sure.
But could I have strangled that boy in that moment? I lunged. He went and locked himself back in the bathroom. My boyfriend, I guess it was my ex-boyfriend at the time, at this point, like shot up from bed and was like, what are you doing here? Like, just out of sleep.
Right.
So imagine you're taking a nap, you're sleeping, and you wake up to see someone you just ended a relationship with
Without them knowing.
without me knowing. So, and I'm just like sitting there like, this is normal for me to be sitting here. Yeah, still comfortable with my choices. And so I wouldn't leave.
Oh.
And so I'm admitting my own, faults in this, like illegal, probably to like break into someone's house, even if it was open. But he ended up like basically dragging me out.
Oh my God.
Because I wouldn't leave. Yeah. And I sat in the stairwell and I was like, you told me this ended. Like, how this doesn't look ended to me. Like, we need to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, like I have to get ready and go to work. I'll come over later tonight and we'll talk about it. I'm like, no, bitch. We're talking about it right now.
Right. Because I'm not going to see you again.
Right.
This is it.
So he was like, basically just telling me to leave and he'll come over later, and like wouldn't let me have the conversation. So my tactic for getting back at him in the moment was me screaming at him to get me orange juice. And I won. I like won somehow. Like I was like, get me orange juice. Like that fixed everything. Like he brought me a glass of orange juice and I was
pulp.
Like, yes, I have the orange juice. So
why orange juice?
Look,
I've done plenty of insane things, so I'm not, but it just was. Did you guys have a thing with orange juice? Did it
not
just pop
at
into your
all.
head?
It was just, what's something I want that he might have? Orange juice. Yes.
I'm gonna be fine. I just need some orange juice.
So, just making him do something.
Sure,
for me.
yeah.
I'm like, yes, that's the direction I'm going. So he got me the orange juice. It was delicious.
What was his reaction when you said you wanted some orange juice?
I mean, I guess he just went and got it. Like what if I were in that position, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I guess that's the least I could do. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, use some orange juice.
That's all he wants. All right, that's fine.
And so while he was actually, it kind of helped. It worked to my friend's advantage because he got me the juice while my friend slinked out like the side door and like got away before I committed a murder. So, good things all around, I guess. He did end up coming over that night.
Okay.
And I had another moment of vindication when I gave him hives because just by talking about the situation, he broke out in hives.
Really?
Because he was affected. He's like, oh, I have to face this now. I guess
There's
in person.
a consequence for my actions.
Oh my goodness!
God.
Wow!
What a thought! What a realization!
And then I still loved him at the moment, so I was
that's
like,
the worst part.
I'm gonna get you calamine lotion, and then I tried to fix his hives. So we discussed. He admitted to me that it had been an ongoing venture.
Yeah.
Since April, or since before April.
Yeah.
I mean, if April was the "I love you" text, then it was probably going on before then.
Probably the whole year, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and it was like, every time I would ask, it would be like, oh, okay, well, I guess it really started this time, and then it would just like go back the next
well,
time.
actually,
I
now that I
asked.
think about it,
Yeah.
it was actually.
And another great detail of this is that he stayed with me, like at my parents' house, a couple of nights a week. And so some days, like if he didn't have work the next day, I would go to work and then come back, and like he would still be there so we could hang out. He lived like 45 minutes away, which wasn't that far, but it's like if he's going to go home and play video games anyway, he might as well just do it in my house, and then we can go get dinner like that night.
Sure, yeah.
So apparently while that was happening, he and my friend hooked up in my bedroom while my mom was downstairs in the kitchen.
Oh my God.
And my mom's like a very New Jersey mom.
Yeah.
And so when I told her this, she was ready for blood. She was like, in my fucking house? They're upstairs doing that while you're at work? I was like, yes, mother, please don't kill anyone. I haven't up until this point. I would really appreciate it if you didn't.
Did that come out during that conversation when he had hives?
So it was that night, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I don't think... I did see him one time after that, which is a different story. But I think that was one of the last times that I saw him. Yeah.
What was the last time?
The last time might have been when we went to go see a movie together years later.
Oh, really?
And I don't know what my problem was. Like, why did I do that? But
Did he reach out or did you?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know what made him think that it was okay or what made me say yes, but that was maybe like 2 years later.
And did you realize, like, while you were there, like, why am I here with him? This is a terrible idea. Or were there still feelings there?
I wonder if there were. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
But, why else would I have said yes?
Right.
But then I'm sure, like, the logical part of my brain was like, don't you dare try to fucking do anything. Like,
yeah,
he already, like, this is done.
Right. And 2 years, I mean, if you think it's your forever person, like, you were probably, I mean, I'm sure you'd moved on and stuff, but that was probably the tail end of you were finally like, I'm over him.
Right.
You know? And so to open that up again, so that was the last time though? You were like,
Yeah. I mean, another minor detail, he might be really good friends with the first gay friend I ever made when I was 15, presently. So I do occasionally have to see him in Instagram posts.
Oh.
But like also at this point, even though it's like real shitty, enough time has passed where like if I saw him, I would say hi.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And like, it's not like a big deal now.
No.
But at the time it was earth shattering.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine. I know we've been kind of laughing, laughing through it, but I mean, at that time, I mean, because I imagine, I mean, were you able to rekindle any friendship with your friend?
Absolutely.
Have you not talked to them? And
so he reached out, gosh, I don't remember how long after it was, years after. And through a Facebook message and like apologized for everything.
Yeah.
And I basically just said like, thank you for saying this.
Right. But what else can you? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to be friends again.
Sure. Yeah.
If I saw him again, I would also be fine. But there's definitely a lot more animosity on that end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
Long relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the sense of betrayal is a lot
exactly
stronger.
Yeah. Like, to breach 8 years of trust is different than a year.
Definitely.
Even though like obviously like the relationships are like different. Like it's different being in an intimate relationship. So like that weighs a little heavier. So like it comes out still heavier on the friend side.
Well, right, yeah, just because the only reason, and what's interesting is that I can relate on some level, but the circumstances were not as direct, I guess. And I actually had my ex-girlfriend, who I had broken up with, like 4 years later, started dating my best friend behind my back.
Oh my God.
And I had her on, and we talk all about it.
Yeah.
Because I broke up with her in a very shitty way, where the same day she met my family for the first time, I broke up with her.
Ooh.
And then, so we kind of call it even now, like 10 years later, you know? But at the time, I mean, the betrayal, I was much more angry at my friend. Because, I mean, there's a whole episode devoted to it. But, I mean, it took me like 8 months to get on even like speaking ground terms with him. But the circumstances were different that, you know, my girlfriend and I hadn't even dated. It was more just the lying, you know?
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
And there was more like, oh, I wonder if my ex and I will get back together. Well, not anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But to go through it when it's like actually happening, I can totally understand why it's just like, bye, friend, you know? Like, and I'm just curious, you know, you said that you guys started being friends like at what age? You said like
About
8th
like
grade?
6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And kind of ratcheted up a little like in 8th grade. Did you both know you were gay at that point? Was that kind of what brought you? I mean, not that that's enough to bring people together, but
I mean, we didn't. I didn't even know I was gay until I was 15, I guess, when I realized like, oh, I thought Will Smith was cute because I'm gay. Like I didn't make that connection,
right?
Which sounds so dumb, but like,
no,
you know, when you get that realization, you're like, oh fuck, I'm dumb. You're like, oh, but yeah, no, we didn't know.
Okay.
But you know, I guess we had like enough commonalities, and like there must have been on some level like we're similar in a way that we don't know yet.
Right.
And so especially during high school is when we really became like best friends, and like we would hang out pretty much every day.
Did he realize around the same time that you did?
I think so. Yeah.
Did you guys ever talk about it or?
Yeah. So I came out to my friends when I was 15, and it must have been around the same time.
Okay.
Weirdly, I don't remember that conversation. That seems like an important one.
Well, yeah, and that's the only reason.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, I'm not prying or anything.
No.
It's just because I would imagine, you know, if there's that on top of, like, you know, you were kind of there for each other in that way too. But yeah, I can just imagine if, you know, you were kind of allies in that way and kind of had each other's backs, it would be even more of a blatant fuck you.
Yeah.
That wow. Oh God. Man, so what were you? What were you thinking when you were sitting on the bed?
You know, it was kind of just like pure rage.
Yeah.
At that time, because, you know, how do I say this? Didn't have any logic, you know, running through my veins at the moment. I just like saw the car and then darted, just like went straight for it. And so like when he came out of the shower, this is another funny thing, because he came out of the shower like naked, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see this. So like, you know,
worse.
I'm like, my eyes are just like, like this, and he's like, hi, and then runs back into the bathroom. And, you know, I just remember resisting leaving. Like, I was like, I need to get to the bottom of this right now.
You just wanted to have the conversation, like in that moment. Because it is, I mean, it's totally understandable, but that is the point where, like you said, it's almost like, I mean, that's a crazy thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I totally understand it.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to have another conversation. It's just like, nope, I caught you in the act. Oh, did a part of you, when you saw the car, think about leaving? Or was it just like instantly like, all right, let's see this through?
I think I was so motivated by anger at that time, and just like especially because I had been fooling myself into thinking that it was repairable, or like, you know, that everything he said was true, like that it was just a one-time thing, and like I could somehow fix it. It was kind of like that was the moment where I realized like, wow, I've really been doing myself a huge disservice.
Yeah.
It had only been like maybe a week at most. And I'm just like going around still thinking, you know, that we're together, when even though he didn't say, I want to break up with you, it should have been evident at the time that that's the direction it was going.
So were you just trying really hard to like, we can work, and then he'd just be like,
pretty much. It was like you could only say the same thing like in so many different ways.
Right. Yeah.
So it was more like me saying, like, I would say things like it's okay, we can get over, like, we can get through this.
Yeah.
And he would say like, I don't know, I'm sorry I did this. Like, I didn't want things to end this way, et cetera, et cetera. He told me that he was going to break up with me, but he wanted to wait until after we got back from Miami so it didn't ruin the trip.
Well, that was very thoughtful.
So, you know, I was like, wow, I guess that could have been a better possibility. But then there would have still been the, oh, but you're dating my friend now. Right. So that's shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he told you that, you're like, oh, he does care about me. I can't get through this. He was thoughtful enough to wait until afterwards. There's hope.
Exactly. Not the part where he says, like, I didn't want this to end this way. Right, yeah. That wasn't a hint.
Yeah, all of his texts were basically just, we're done. And you're like, no, we can work it out. I didn't want it to end this way. Oh, it won't. It won't end this way.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you.
It's great. Oh, my God. Okay, so after he came over and you kind of, you know, everything became clear, like, what did you, like, how long did it take to sort of get over that?
So long.
Yeah.
I mean, for 3 weeks, I didn't even have an appetite. So, like, in a very unhealthy way, I lost 17 pounds in 3 weeks.
I can relate to that wholeheartedly because if you watch season 2 of Average Joe, I am the skinniest I've ever been. And I was just chain smoking and only eating grapes and walking 6 miles a day. And so it's very frustrating because I'm like, I'd like to look like that, but I don't want to do it that way again.
Yeah, wrong way.
I was miserable. Just miserable. Okay,
exactly.
So that's what you're on a diet of nothing.
Yes, which is also maybe like, don't tell people that they look great if you don't know the circumstances.
Exactly.
Because I definitely like got that a couple times, and I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not great.
Not at all.
Yeah, but I mean, emotionally, like, even though I got over like a good chunk of it in that like first month.
Yeah.
It honestly probably took like 2 years.
Yeah.
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 Again, like at the time I wouldn't have admitted it. I would have been like, oh, fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking back, you know, the whole hindsight being 2020 thing, I'm like, oh, I really was like still in my feelings.
Well, because in that moment, you don't want to give them that power.
Right.
You don't want to be like, yeah, I'm still thinking about you. Mm-hmm. No, you just got to be like, fuck you. I'm over it. It's fine. Were you trying to move on? Like, were you going on dates or anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first time, so I had like occasionally texted my ex a couple times, like throughout probably that whole year. And the next time I had like went on a date with someone, I made sure to tell him as if like it would make him mad. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, take that. Oh, God. I went on a date.
Oh, and then inadvertently you're still giving him the power because you want to tell him.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
So it's like, I look like such a dweeb, like just an idiot. And he's like, oh, great.
Yeah, and then that
cool.
makes you even more angry.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm happy for you. I'm like, this was not my intention with this news. I wanted you to be so insanely jealous that you would come running back to me. So yeah, took quite a while to realize the error of my ways.
Oh my gosh, man, it really is just the worst. Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah,
it
especially
takes time.
the first time something like that intense happens.
Yeah.
But I'm also like in a weird way. I don't know. I feel weird when people say I'm grateful for this experience.
Right.
Because am I grateful for it, or am I just like glad that I was able to learn a lesson from it?
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm not happy that it happened, but from that, I feel like I learned better ways to like handle relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and my big takeaway, like with the worst like heartbreak that I dealt with, was just to like, oh, if somebody tells me that they don't feel that way about me, believe them.
Believe them. Yes.
You know, you can't convince them. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so in that way, yeah, it is funny because I definitely did learn that. And I'm thankful for having learned that because now I'm with somebody who wants to be with me.
Right.
You know, and I was able to like, you know, I would go on dates before I met my girlfriend and, you know, the vibe wasn't there. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to force this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk away. It's fine.
Yeah. Like you can better recognize feelings, I guess, and better like not only in yourself, but in other people. Like, oh, their body language is not really welcoming to me.
Right.
So I'm not going to, you know, keep going with this.
Yeah. Force the issue.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine now, you mentioned your current boyfriend.
Yes.
So I imagine that, you know, the way you felt about him all those years ago, now have you found your person?
Right. Yes.
That's great.
And we've been together now. It'll be 10 years this year.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So that would have been 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that was only a couple years after.
Yeah. 3 years later. Yeah.
Wow. And that's what I always try to remind any like friend or anybody else who's going through this shit is that it's just like there's no easy way to deal with it. It's just fucking time.
Yeah.
Eventually it does fade. The power they have over you fades. And in your case, you were able to like find somebody else, you know, but even if like you're still struggling, it's like, it'll fade. It just does with time, you know? And if it's not, then you're like romanticizing something that was never actually true.
Yeah, exactly. That's you know? Like along the lines of like falling in love with the idea of someone or like staying in love with the idea of someone.
Yeah. Which is dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Or like a codependent situation where you're both doing it.
Yeah. Woo! Oh God. Whew. I'm still laughing about the text you said. Hey, I went on a date. And then they were like, that's great. Because I had similar things where it wasn't that overt, but I was just texting them hoping that they would be like, I'm sorry. And they'd just be like, oh, that's awesome. And then I'd just get angry.
Yeah, because you don't realize at the time too, like when someone, I mean, not only cheats on you, but like breaks up with you, they already more into the relationship.
Right.
Like he had been thinking about that for months.
Yeah. Exactly.
And probably months even before he started that relationship with my friend. So it's like, you know, this is new to me.
Right.
But the old news to you.
Right. Yeah. He's been kind of a dead man walking in a sense. You know, he's over it. He's just going through the motions where, it's all fresh for you. So anyway, well, I'm very glad that that you've gotten over that long ago and that you're in a very happy relationship now. And now everything's easy, right? Life's perfect.
Yeah,
you don't have to work on the relationship.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Everybody goes through one terrible heartbreak, and then the rest is
Pleasantville.
Pie. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming on and sharing all of this. As I told you before we went on, it is a funny thing to get so excited when somebody mentions a terrible thing they went through. But you know, I love being able to laugh about shitty stuff like this.
Me too.
Because I think if anything, it's the last sort of washing your hands of anything about it. When you can laugh about it, then it's truly just done.
It has no control over you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, which is great. So, so where can people find you on social media?
You can find me most places at Soundly Awake.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Where did that name come from?
Where did that come from? You remember Zanga?
Yeah.
So I decided that soundly sleeping was like a cool concept, but if you're asleep, you can't experience the soundness.
That's true.
So I was like 13 and it's, you know, still with me today.
That's awesome. All right. Yeah. Soundly Awake. And anything you want to promote or anything you got going on?
Right now, What the Sweet Fuck on youtube.com/soundly awake and the dumbest thing I've ever done if you want some more Schadenfreude.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
That was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun talking with Nicola. I met him years ago. He did an episode of Average Joe, and it was a lot of fun. And I hope to work with him again in the future. So if you're going through a bad breakup now, just as we said, with time, it will get better. You'll meet somebody else eventually. If not today, tomorrow, or the next day. But focus less on when you'll meet somebody and focus more on just self-care and taking care of yourself, and the rest will It'll happen eventually. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give us that 5 stars on iTunes. It's so fucking appreciated. It means more to me than anything in the whole world. You get it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. And until next Wednesday, keep on laughing.